So stay with me. Here's what's happening. You already know that Germany has Austria-Hungary's back and has already readied its armies, but it wants a quick campaign, in and out, before Russia can get involved, as they know they will have Serbia's back. But unbeknownst to Germany, Ruski comrades have secretly been raiding their armies and met with France to get them start doing the same. France has rung up Britain and asked them to join. Man's busy on that, bruv. Man's gonna call you after dealing with the mandem, innit? And Britain has said they will get back to them. And Montenegro, tired of giant empires throwing their weight around, has joined Serbia against Austria-Hungary and now is up for a scrap. So there you have it. Think of it like your two favorite opposing sports team, what's known as the Central Powers of Germany and Austria-Hungary on one side, and then the allies of Serbia, Russia, France and Montenegro on the other side, with Britain in the locker room still undecided if it wants to play. Get it? France still tries to get Britain to commit, but for the first time in its empire-stealing life, it doesn't want to get involved, which plays right into Germany's master plan. This is what they call the Schlieffen Plan. This plan relied on three things. One, that Russia would take ages to get its armies together because it's so big. That's what she said. Two, that Germany would fight one enemy at a time, attacking France first, win that war, turn around, and then attack Russia once it's mobilized. Three, that Belgium would not want to be involved in the war. But why the heck do they suddenly care about Belgium, I hear you ask? Those chocolate-making pacifists have not been involved up until now. Well, Germany wanted to fight France, but France has thought Germany was pretty sus for a while, so its borders with them is heavily guarded and would be a nightmare to overcome. So what do you do when you can't go through? You go around. Germany wants to creep around the side of the border and invade France by sneaking a tiny bit army of 750,000 troops through Belgium, which they think neutral Belgium will be okay with. And even if they aren't, they're so tiny, so what are they gonna do? Which leaves Belgium in predicament. What would you do if you were Belgium? But bullying Belgium was a huge miscalculation by Germany, because Belgium joins the Allies and puts up an unexpectedly great fight at the Battle of Liege, slowing down the Germans considerably. Must have been all that energy from the chocolates. And our final allies member, Britain, has turned up, angry that Germany is invading neutral countries and finally declaring war on them. But Germany acts like that one friend we all have that just takes it too far and pushes forward, torturing, raping and killing their way across Belgium. Bad news for Belgium, as nearly 1.2 million people flee the country, but gold for the allies that start speedily spreading information worldwide to highlight what Germany is doing to an innocent and neutral country. This pulls at the US's heartstrings, whose president, Woodrow Wilson, originally was just trying to get everyone to hold hands and get along. We interrupt this broadcast for a quick message. It's a mid-match analysis. Even though we're less than a month into the war, all this new tech means fighting a completely different way to before. So here are some things we have learned from the war so far. Machine guns beat bayonets. Cavalries are useless against giant guns and tanks.
Neither, right, bruh?
Helmets, Trump hats at repelling bullets. Wearing bright colors on the battlefield is a no-no. Looking at you, France, as you can see, the allies seem to be fumbling this. Really not adapting to the condition on the pitch and playing an old game. But Germany is very much the man of the match, forging ahead, playing so naturally with these new toys. But that's all about to change. That's the really subtle signal that Russia is finally ready for battle. Well ahead of schedule. Unfortunately, Germany are still tied up in France, so backup squad Austria-Hungary meets them at their border, which did not go well. This is a bit of a pattern for Austria-Hungary, whose forces are so all over the place, they failed to even take a minuscule Serbia at the beginning of the war. So they call in the grown-ups, Germany, who send some troops to them to help and get some advice from their chief of staff. The chief of staff is essentially a really big deal. Although it sounds like some kind of a butler, it's actually who's in charge of your entire military strategy. But sometimes they don't see eye to eye. Austria-Hungary's chief of staff is General Franz Konrad von Hotzendorf, a mustachioed maverick whose passion sometimes defies logic. He really loves war, and trying his best to work with him is this titan, General Erich von Falkenhayn from Germany, the youngest chief of staff ever and shrewd strategist. He really loves logic. And we all know what happens when our heart sometimes rules our head. We should come as it's our land. Nah man, I'm gonna rush. Be brave, bro. No matter how well Germany plans battles, General Hotzendorf just does what he wants, ignoring his advice, but then sheepishly come back for aid when it fails.
A little help?
Luckily, Germany can clean up their mess and nearly decimate the entire Russian Second Army in the north, whilst their other forces in the west have pushed through fronts and are about to take Paris. It's not looking good for the Allies. On the western front, the Germans are closing in and the French and British are scrambling. We have all felt what it's like to be backed into a corner with our options quickly running out. And that is exactly how this guy, the French commander-in-chief, feels. His troops retreat over and over again until there is only one solution: to stand up and fight. Calling for an all-out offensive, the troops dash forward, splitting the Germans' line and causing them to retreat, which is great, until the Germans refuse to move back anymore. They literally dig their positions into the ground, creating a trench, so the Allies follow suit, digging trenches opposite them. They then race each other to the north, each trying to gain ground, leaving a trench trail behind them, leading from sea all the way down to Switzerland. This creates a whole new way of waging war called trench warfare. I am sure we will be home for Christmas. This is just like camping, how hard can it be? Right, huddle up and listen in people, so we can talk trench game plan. Firstly, protect your trench. Lay mines and barbed wire in no man's land. That's the bit in between your trenches. Secondly, attack the enemy. Shoot any soldiers trying to come into your trench and also pelt their side with artillery shells, poisonous gases and machine gun fire. And lastly, take the enemy's trench. Send wave after wave of soldiers over the top across no man's land to try and seize the trench until you give up or succeed. These extreme tactics killed thousands of soldiers over many months to gain sometimes only a few hundred meters of land. I know what you're thinking. You would much rather be the ones who just chill in the trenches, right? Well, you might want to reconsider. The soldiers were suffering immeasurably just existing in these trenches, where the potent combo of mud, rain, rats, and rotting corpses led to a surge in disease. This is not a mini break in France that I was imagining. The constant shelling led to psychological damage called shell shock, and lack of food and clean water took a heavy toll on morale. But it's okay, it's only for a short while. You can survive anything for a bit, right? Nope, they did this for years. With everyone dug in, this was not going to be a war of quick invasion. It was more a long, slow grind to see who chickened out first. So, who will be the first to fall?